All right, here at John Peterson, we're at training camp. John, just real quickly, can you touch on your Greco background? How wrestling the Greco guys, benefited your freestyle wrestling? We see the guys out here right now with freestyle Greco getting it on right behind you. So just can you touch on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, the story that I'd like to tell is how I made a switch. I wrestled in the World Championships in 1971. That was my first introduction right out of college to international wrestling, and did not do very well, but then I had the big jump and ended up a silver medalist in the 72 Olympics. And then I was on the 73 World team and had a disappointing outing there. So come 74, I decided I'm going to go a different route. Instead of trying out for the world team this year or going to the world training camp for freestyle, I'm just going to work with the Greco guys at their world training camp.
Yeah.
And so those weeks that I spent just concentrating on Greco, working out with guys like Dan Chandler, working on gut wrenches, working on upper body things, underhooks, and 2-on-1 tie. That was a big part of my training, even in freestyle. But just feeling upper body stuff and countering those techniques helped me big time. I've told people that I don't think I would have been an Olympic champion in '76 had I not spent that time at that training camp. One of the tough guys that I wrestled in the Olympics was a Hungarian who later became world champion. He had switched from Greco to freestyle, and it would have been pretty difficult for me to do well against him. I beat him fairly well in the Olympics because of my feeling all that upper body stuff. He did end up throwing me off the mat once, but back then that didn't count. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, it's for kids coming out just fresh, they're getting into freestyle Greco. I mean, it's important to develop those Greco traits, even if you want to be the top level freestyle guy too.
I think so. There's so many crossovers between the two styles, although FILA and international rules are trying to make a bigger distinction, I think. But wrestling is wrestling, and there are so many skills that a great freestyle wrestler needs to have that comes from Greco. So it benefited me tremendously.
Awesome. Well,
actually, I would not have even made the 71 World team if I hadn't wrestled a Greco match to actually qualify me for the final tryouts. So I owe Greco a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you've been spending some time with the guys this week, right? And what's been your message to them? What have you been talking to them about?
Well, I like to consider myself a coach of the mind and the heart. And I did a chapel with the Viking football team, and I had Dan Gable come up and talk with me. And Dan talks about how the first period is won by guys with technique, second period is won by guys with conditioning, third period is won by guys with the heart. And that's when Dan said, and that's what Peterson talks about. He talks about the heart.
That's good.
So in my relationship with the Lord, and when I began to put Him first in my life, I started doing a lot better wrestling-wise. Instead of pressuring myself to win this tournament or that tournament, I could say, God, I want to wrestle. With the gifts that You've given me, to be the best wrestler I can possibly be. And so that's the message that I talk to a lot of these young guys about. Try to inspire them with some of my wrestling stories and point them in a direction to examine their own hearts to see, hey, where am I in a relationship with Almighty God who created me?
Awesome. Well, anything else for me before I let you go?
No, I just appreciate the openness that these young guys have to an older guy coming in and sharing some of his thoughts. And I think the training camp that USA Wrestling provides for these guys it's a good fit. Good for guys to get away from their regional training areas and come together and learn solid wrestling and get together and bond. So
awesome.
training camp's a great opportunity for young kids.
Very good, very good. Well, yeah, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Man.